So y'all, I'm a little late to the party. I know. But I could not let it go by without speaking on this issue because, players, it had to be said. So, a week ago now, from when y'all are seeing this, we witnessed the Grammys. And for the first time in what has to be like 20 years, I watched a Grammy performance and did not want to smack myself in the face with a frying pan to get through this 4 or 5 hour extravaganza. The show was actually dope this year. Seriously. It was dope. We had great performances from great artists who were talented. There was nobody ice spicing all over the screen, doing nothing, boring me to tears, or embarrassing me. It was cool. We had people win awards who deserved them. What a concept. People were winning awards for putting out the best music and not whatever who got the most love on social media, hashtag crap. It was dope. Even Beyonce. Beyonce finally won the album of the year. And I've seen some people say, oh, they just gave it to her as a participation trophy. She didn't earn it, blah, blah, blah. Listen, of the people who were nominated for the award that year, I contend that Cowboy Carter was the best album in that bunch. Yes, I agree. She deserved it this time. We were all good. But of course, someone had to set me off. So, by now, I'm sure y'all heard about the interview with our boy, Babyface. So, I'll break it down. A couple of reporters from the Associated Press took time out to speak with Babyface about Babyface things. And for those who don't know, and if you're watching this channel and don't know who Babyface is, please get your life. Kenneth Babyface Edmonds is not only one of the greatest songwriters and artists of my generation, I would contend that he's one of the greatest of all time as a writer. He is that epic with his pen. He is that prolific. He has hits on hits on hits. You can't doubt his greatness. So you've got these two reporters talking to my man Face. In the background, Chapel Roan, who, no, admittedly is a big deal, is roaming around. An AP reporter cuts my man Face off, screams, Chapel, over here, Chapel. Face, because he is quite the gentleman, is like, oh, that's who you want to talk to? Go do your thing. They just snub one of the greatest writers and artists in music history to run and get some Chapel Roan. Now, look, no offense to Chapel, because, first of all, Chapel's music isn't really for me, but I respect what Chapel has done. Also, Chapel Roan is kind of also the name of the street I live on, so you get props for proximity there. So let's break this down so I can talk about why I'm so furious about this situation. Because understandably, I will speak as a person who has covered journalism. I'm a journalist for almost 25 years now. So I've been doing this longer than half of y'all watching this have been alive. But I have also covered red carpet events. So I will give our little reporter friends a little bit of credit on one thing. Because when you're on the red carpet, your duty is, I have to get the hottest interview with the hardest artist. And let's be real. Chapel was nominated for Album of the Year, had all these nominations up. Yeah, she's a bigger deal in 2025 than Babyface is in 2025. But when you compare careers, you know what? Like, it's not even comparable, their level of legend to old girl who's starting out. So, number one, it's ridiculous. Number two, there is a way to handle that situation without being a complete rude and unprofessional dummy. All you have to do is, if you're in the middle of an interview and you see someone else that you want to interview, wait till the person finishes speaking, like someone who actually is acting like a human being and being courteous. Wait for them to finish speaking, wrap the interview up, and then go around and get Chapel. Babyface he's a pro. He knows how it is. He would not be offended. But to cut someone off mid-sentence and shoo them to get the other person, you would be considered rude if you did that to the cashier in Target. Why would you do that to someone of the status of Babyface? Here is the issue. Y'all are acting like you've never been anywhere. And that's the problem with journalism right now. Because we have journalists who have influencer mentalities. You are here to do a job. You're not here to be a fan. You're not here to be a stan. Yes, I have covered events with artists and actors that I love, but I had to suppress it. It was like, okay, let me be a professional. We can talk later. We can do the selfie and stuff another time. But when you're in business mode, do business things. Be professional. Treat every artist like the professional they are. Not whatever that is. This is what happens when you let the influencer mindset infiltrate journalism. We get nonsense. So, since y'all didn't want to respect Babyface, come to your boy. You've come to the right place, because today we are going to celebrate Babyface by taking a look at 15 of the greatest songs he has ever written. 15. I mean, I could do 50, but we're only going to do 15. We're going to show you how it's done. And for you reporters, you need to do better. Welcome to another edition, players, of the Soul and Stereo Sessions right here on YouTube. Y'all know what it is if you watch my very long, rambling intro, but I had something to get off my chest. But today is not about fussing anymore. It's about celebrating. We are celebrating the career of one of the greatest of all time, Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. And I love that this is an opportunity to not only dispel the foolishness that we got a little bit earlier on, but an opportunity to talk about how much he's contributed to R&B. Because unfortunately, as many of y'all know watching this, R&B is a genre, one of the most powerful genres ever in the history of this planet. It's often sidelined today, and you know, y'all heard me rant about for 20 years why I've hated what R&B has become in the mainstream. But at R&B's height, especially during my generation, a lot of times if you look at those liner notes in those CDs back there, you will see K. Edmonds' name there, because he was the mastermind, he was the pen behind so many of these hits. So today we're going to talk about 15 hits from a man who has more than 24 number ones, 13 Grammys. This guy's a legend of legends, and we're going to celebrate that today. We're going to talk about why R&B is so great, and I don't know, the B in R&B might be Babyface. But first, y'all know what it is. Take a second, if you haven't already, to hit like on this video. I promise if you love R&B, you gonna like this video, so hit like, and make sure you share this video after we're done. And if you haven't already, why are you tripping? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's very important to me. Just one click for you means so much to me, means so much to future videos that we have. And don't forget to leave some comments later on so you can talk about which songs you thought should be added to this list, because I just have 15. I could do so many more. So we're going to take a second, and you know, D Roth, we're going to switch things up. We're not even going to number these. These are just going to be, because it's impossible to rank them, I'm just going to drop these here. We're going to talk about 15 songs unranked that are among the best in the catalog of the best. Babyface. First up is Boyz II Men's Water Runs Dry. Oh my gosh, this is my song. We don't even talk anymore. We don't even know what we argue about. We don't even say I love you no more. Their voice, it's the way they perform this song always trips me out. It is so wonderful. And back in '94, I'll be honest, I was a huge fan of Boyz II Men. But they were everywhere. So it was quite easy to get tired of a Boyz II Men single, because they were played nonstop everywhere. But this song always stuck with me because of the way it was written. And that's what we're talking about today. Water Runs Dry, you would think that it's about, if it was 2025 song terms, it would be like, oh, somebody's being thirsty. Oh, they're just thirsty. It's not thirst in that sense, They're talking about, man, this relationship we're hurting each other. We need to do something before this relationship runs out, before this love we have goes away, before the water, you feel me, runs dry and love's well. That is why this song is so great. And I love that in that era, we were able to talk about different aspects of a relationship. Other than today, where most of the time it's like, give me some draws or I hate you. Like there's more to love and relationships than that. And that's what Babyface was talking about here. One of my favorite Boyz II Men songs, of course, Hidden by the Greatest. Alright, and next we have another Boyz II Men track, and we're going with End of the Road. And yes, another song that they played absolutely into the ground during was I in high school or middle school? I think it was like early high school, maybe it was freshman year. But man, they played this song to death. But it was so contagious. I remember going on field trips and the girls like sitting in the front of, their girls were like in the front of the bus, we were like near the back. And they would just all be singing this song because, yeah, it's cheesy. Yeah, it's just like, oh my God. Oh, don't leave me, baby, don't leave me. But again, the way it was written was so great because it's talking about this road that we're on. Like, we see this is about to end. I don't want this to end. I don't want this road to end. I want this journey to continue. Don't let the road end, please. These brothers were begging, but there was nothing wrong with begging for love. If we begged for love more, we would have more love in this world. Thank you, Babyface, for teaching us how to beg for love. Yes, the road is almost over, but it's unnatural. It's unnatural, Babyface says. It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you. Another banger from Face. Next up is Johnny Gill and My. I almost did There You Go, which is probably my favorite Johnny Gill solo song. But My is a classic song in of itself, because y'all know the lyrics. Put on your red dress, slip on those high heels, and some of that sweet perfume. It sure smells good on you. It's an old pimp song. I love it because this song is all about celebrating a woman. Like, he is just worshiping this lady that he is enamored with in this song. And Face, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on, Face is so incredible that he could capture femininity as a man. Like, he could just really capture like a woman's journey. And I love that he had our boy Johnny Gill in the place to just really talk about, and he was celebrating the woman without being crude. It was compliments, it was sexy, but it wasn't gross, it wasn't creepy, it wasn't weird, it wasn't, y'all know how stuff be straight oppressive now. Girl, get over here. It was not any of that. He was celebrating this woman by showing her how beautiful she was, but also being respectful. We need some more of that. Face, bring the respect back to romance. We need it. Next up on the list is Exhale, aka Shoop. Whitney Houston from the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. We'll be talking some more about some songs from that soundtrack. One of the greatest soundtracks in music history. A soundtrack that was featuring all female artists, but all written by a dude. Once again, he was able to really capture the spirit of what women were going through. We got a bunch of those on this list. As a kid, this song kind of got on my nerves because Whitney's like making up words, and we literally found out that she was the Shoop. The Shoop. Like, that was almost a placeholder as she was performing. Like, that wasn't supposed to be there. But it was kind of cool, so they kept it. So even though it's a little weird and off, it works in the concept because Whitney can make anything sound dope, even saying Shoop. But beyond that, let's talk about the actual writing, because the song is almost, if you could take the Waiting to Exhale movie and like make a synopsis of it in a song, to me, that's what this song is. And that's why it's so great. It takes a book that became a movie and like pared it down to one song. incredible. He could capture everything that these women were going through in these broken relationships and just put it together for just a few minutes to be enjoyed in song. Truly a masterwork for an incredible movie and an incredible soundtrack. Next up is Karen White and Superwoman. This is a song that today does not get the love that it should. In my opinion, one of the greatest songs of the 90s. It doesn't get the respect it does. Shout out to Karen White, one of the most unsung voices of her era. And this song, you know, I was talking a little bit earlier about the girls singing Boys to Men in the Road. I was much younger when this dropped. I'm pretty sure I was in middle school when Superwoman came out. The girls in my class were obsessed with this song, and if you listen to the lyrics, you can understand why. This song is about a woman fed up. She is trying everything she can do for her man. Her man don't want anything to do with her, and she's fed up. She's like, I can't be your Superwoman. I'm not the type of girl that you can let down and think that everything is okay. Boy, I am only human. And the girls in my class who are 11 years old, ma'am, you have not gone through anything. The most stress you had was you didn't get the Pop-Tart you wanted this morning. But they love this song because it resonated with them. They used to sing this song so hard because I don't know if they saw their mothers going through it. I don't know if they were going through it with their little boyfriends. I don't know if future them was speaking to them and saying, man, this is going to be your life, but it really resonated with them, and Karen's performance was incredible. One of the best songs of the 90s. We don't talk about this song enough. Incredible, incredible track. Next up is Madonna and Take a Bow. And I know I might lose a little bit of credit on here, but I'm not the biggest Madonna fan. She's got a couple of joints. I know I will celebrate her as a legend and an icon like so many have. Look, I don't have to like you to recognize that you're great, and she is great. Her songs don't really do it for me. My favorite Madonna song is a song from the Dick Tracy soundtrack. That is real talk, and do not sleep on that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Love that movie, and she killed it as Breathless Mahoney in that movie. Anyway, Take a Bow is one of the few songs that I really like. Again, it's a Babyface penned the song, and you can hear him in the background. And I think I like it because it's so soulful. But Take a Bow takes a relationship and is essentially the metaphor as a play. And it's like, okay, the play is wrapping up. We're about to like give our farewell. And this has been done a million times, like comparing a play or something to a relationship wrapping up. But I like this one because it uses the metaphor without going completely over the top. I just reviewed a Jagged Edge album on soulandstereo.com. Go check that out, player, on the print site. But yes, I reviewed that album. They have so many songs with these metaphors. And I'm like, yo, why are these metaphors so annoying? Like, you have to use subtlety in a metaphor. You can like sprinkle it in, but you don't have to. If you're talking about a woman's body like an automatic weapon, you don't have to make a whole bunch of weapon references. Like, it's too much. You can use the theme and talk about how this relationship is struggling, but just throw in little elements that play toward whatever the theme is instead of going like completely crazy with it. Like, don't hammer the audience over the head with it. That is the mark of great writing. That's why this song works so well. When others have tried to mimic it in the past, didn't quite work. This one gets it right. Okay, next up is an actual Babyface song. Yes, I could have done 15 Babyface songs here, honestly, but I feel like this is one of the best written ones, and it is Whip Appeal. Had to show love to an actual Babyface track. So, for those of y'all who weren't around in the 90s like me, I remember Whip Appeal, people trying to figure out what the heck Whip Appeal was about. And to me, it makes sense. Like, what he's talking about in this song is he is a guy who comes home in a relationship. And he admits the communication ain't the best. They don't talk too well. But they got that whip appeal because even though what they say verbally doesn't connect, what they do physically in the bedroom does connect. So that's kind of what it's about. Now, of course, we take it too far and we think whip appeal means like some kinky stuff. And look, players, your boy ain't gonna keep kink shame. Do what you want to do. Have fun. But that ain't what this song is about. This song is about making a connection with someone when words fail. There's still something about them. They still have that. The kids call it the Riz these days. The Riz. They have something in them that allows them to connect with people. When the words don't connect, they still got that aura that makes a other kind of connection, if you know what I mean. So yeah, players, it's not about whips and chains. And if that's what you do, y'all have fun. But this is about Babyface putting that game down with a look in the eye and not too many words. And it's incredible. He says that on the song, This Well Written. And of course, whip appeal then became, for a while, a pop culture term. Everybody had that whip appeal. So, yep, brothers had that whip appeal in the 90s. I was too young for that, so I couldn't talk about the whip appeal then. But I got a little bit of that whip appeal. Up next is Brandy, Sitting in My Room. Yet another one from the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. This song is masterful in a way that many of y'all might not expect. Yes, this is a great song, a fun song, a poppy song. If we used the word bop in 95, we would have called this a bop. But the reason why this song works is because of the way it shows an evolution of Brandy as an artist. So Brandy started out in the early 90s and doing her baby, baby, don't you know you so fine, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But now in 95, she is maturing. She's like a teenager at this point, not quite a woman. So she's not jumping all the way into womanhood. But in the writing of this song, you can hear a girl becoming a young woman because she's sitting in her room, you know, I'm sure her parents' room, thinking about her dude. But she's not as goo-goo gaga as she was on the earlier songs. But she's also young enough that you can tell that there's still some young love and maturity there that's coming in. That's why I really like this song. It's a bridge toward the Brandy of back in the day and the Brandy we get a couple years later with the Never Say Nevers and Full Moons and Aphrodisiac projects. And that is yet something else that we need in today's music, because now you have an artist who starts out as kind of a young child artist, and then the next song they up there twerking and just throwing the draws everywhere, and there's like this whiplash, and fans are confused, and parents are upset, and it's like, oh my God, why is this music so explicit? Like, there has to be a natural build to things, and I know in 2025 we don't take time to do anything. Like, we have to jump from point A to point Z. But yeah, I like that this song was part of the maturation of Brandy, and we need some more of that today. Like, let's see our artists grow instead of just throw them draws. Up next is SZA and one of my favorite songs of recent memory, and that's Snooze. I had to throw in something recent for y'all so y'all just don't think, oh, this dude only made hits in the 90s. No, he made hits that you love pretty recently. And when I heard this track for the first time, I like SZA. I know that a lot of people think she's the greatest thing ever. She has not really proven that to me yet. She definitely is good. She has some great albums. I like Control a lot. I thought SOS was solid. But to me, she hasn't reached that level that some people want to put her at. But when I heard this song, I'm like, okay, this is the SZA that y'all are talking about. And then when I found out that Babyface was behind it, I was like, well, of course it's dope, because Babyface wrote it. He was one of the writers on it and producers. And you can tell in the way that it was written, because there's almost an innocence about it. And that's why I like Face's writing, because she realizes that, like, she's falling for this dude and she doesn't want to sleep on this moment, as the song says. Like, she wants this to be for real. She's not running away from her feelings. And so much of music today is that. It's like, if it's not the gratification of sex, then, like, I don't want it. Or, like, you upset me, so let's kill the relationship. Like, real relationships don't grow like that. Like, it takes time before you get there, and it's recognizing that you have something and embracing it and building toward it. And Snooze is like the first level of realizing that you have something good. It's not like they realize and it's like, okay, throw a ring on it right now, or oh my gosh, there's something going on, I'm gonna get out of here. Like, no. This is a mature SZA exploring her feelings and in relationships, penned by, of course, one of the greatest that can help guide that message. This is a very important song to me, and I really am appreciative that it blew up because it shows a generation that love takes time, y'all. It takes a minute. You got some feelings, let those feelings manifest and see where it goes. Don't run from it or just, dismiss it. It's cool. It's all right to have some love. Lord knows we need it. Alright, we went from love to some straight up freaking. Yes, with TLC and Red Light Special. So, Face wrote a ton of great songs for TLC. I almost went with Digging on You for this one. That's one of my favorite TLC songs. But I had to go with Red Light Special because I wanted to pick a song. We've talked before about how Face is like really good at intimate moments, but look, Face can be as nasty as you want to be, but he does it with class. Red Light Special is like, I remember listening to this song and my little cousin was singing this song and I was like, you don't need to be singing these lyrics, ma'am. You're like 9. Like, no, that's too much. This song is super sexy, especially the way it's performed. T-Bot that Red Light Special. Like, it's like, whoa, where are we going? But it was performed with such sensuality without losing its classiness. There's at no point where they are talking about straight up genitals or somebody's leaking on somebody. Like, it's never that explicit, but it's extremely sexy. Extremely sexy. To me, that is another thing that is lost in today's music, in that we have music that talks about sex, but it's sexual, but it's not sexy. This song is both. This song is very sexy, very sexual. You can put it on to set the mood, but it's not straight up gross like a lot of these songs today. I'm like, this sounds like the words coming out of your mouth sound like an STD. Your tongue is just green from the words that you're saying. This is sensual, it's sexual, and it's enticing. That's what's missing. And of course, when you have ladies like T-Boz, who was just, and Chili, like they were just so good at exuding that sexuality. That's what TLC did so well. They really captured their sexuality. They did so great on this one because it was well written by someone who understood the difference between being sexy and being sexual. Face knew what was up. Next up on the list, we're going back to Waiting to Exhale with Mary J. Blige and Not Gonna Cry. D Roth, remind the people. I was your lover and your secretary, working every day of the week. Yeah, I'm never gonna live down some of those videos from back in the day. Look, this is another masterpiece from a masterpiece of a soundtrack featuring a song from Mary J. Blige that just captured heartbreak of a woman so well. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. She may have been his lover and her secretary, but she was able to do that while maintaining her strength. She's so tired of being disrespected by this terrible dude. But you know what? She's not gonna cry. She's not gonna shed a tear no more. She is fed up. She is taking ownership of herself. She's up and she's out. That is the strength of Not Gonna Cry, because it is a woman. And look at Mary J's history at this time. She was known as like the heartbroken girl. Every song was, oh my gosh, I'm so sad, everything's going wrong. This was a song that showed that she was tired of being sad. She was tired of being downtrodden. She was ready to stand up, lift her head high, and to take ownership of her life. That's the strength of Not Gonna Cry. That's the strength of the message behind the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. And once again, that was the strength of Babyface as a writer to convey those emotions from a man's from like a man's pen, but through a woman's perspective and really resonate with women. It's a true art that he was able to capture this. It was one of Mary J's biggest songs ever and created one of the biggest memes here at the Soul and Stereo session. So, yay, Face! Alright, next up is The Deal and Two Occasions. And there is only one reason why this song is here. Because, well, I can give you two reasons. Because they only think of you on two occasions, brothers and sisters. That's day and night. That is the coldest piece of game I have ever heard. Like, that's not even, we're not even talking about the writing. That's just game. That's just game from an old school player right there. Girl, I only think of you on two occasions. What's that? Day and night. I know that sounds corny today, but I guarantee you in the early 80s, man, that thing worked. I promise you it worked. I love this song, but the main reason it's here is because it gave us that iconic line from Face. You can't beat that. Next up on the list is Bobby Brown and Roni. It's no secret. It's no secret. I'm not the biggest Bobby Brown fan, and I'm not saying that to say that he's bad or anything. I don't think he's bad. I don't know. Bobby just, a lot of his stuff didn't resonate with me. I do like a few singles. This is one among them. But I never really bought the Bobby Brown is the king of R&B thing. Like no, without question, he had a great run. The late 80s for sure. Going into the early 90s. But when you actually look at the time frame, he was extreme. His peak was Mount Olympus. But that peak wasn't really as long as you remember, as it, like your nostalgia will tell you, because it was right around the time that hip hop started infiltrating things, and we got the hip hop soul movement with Jodeci and Mary J. So he had two huge albums, and that was kind of it. And then he kind of like went into the drama world, and then reunited with New Edition and blah blah blah. Then he had that other album in the late 90s that was horrible, but we'll skip that. Anyway, back to Roni. And the reason why we talked about this song is because most of y'all listening to this, especially if you're a younger person, you're like, what the heck is a Roni? I said the same thing in the 80s. I didn't know what a Roni was. But what it is, Roni is short for tenderoni. And a tenderoni is essentially like an attractive girl. Like a girl you like. You're like, oh, she's a tenderoni. I didn't like it because tenderoni reminded me of beefaroni, which is what we used to eat from the Chef Boyardee things. I thought Roni was weird. But take all of that aside and just listen to the actual lyrics. This is another really sweet song because Bobby has found a girl that's just too sweet for words. The only word he has for is she's a Roni because she is so sweet. He is so infatuated with this nice girl. And it's just to see like the bad boy fall for the super sweet girl, and it makes him sweet and him soft. It makes the writing of the song really resonate. And it's like, oh, look at that girl's so cute. You got Bobby Brown to chill out. Like, you kind of love it. You kind of love it. That's why I like that song. And of course, Roni would go on to become a big part of 80s and 90s culture. Everybody's girl, you wanted to get you a Roni. I mean, it's so now you just want a hot girl, I guess. What you call them now? Like hot girl? I guess a hot girl is the 2025 Roni. But we wanted some Ronis back then. Thank you, Face, for letting us get some Ronis. As long as it's not the beefaroni. I didn't like that. Alright, next up is Toni Braxton and Breathe Again. And I just can't leave it out. And I just can't think without. And I can't stop thinking without. Boy, when Toni hit you with that baritone, sounding like somebody's uncle at the church that caught you chewing gum, or you like the neck snap back when you hear Toni hitting with you. But I love this song because this is another one where Face wrote so many hits for Toni Braxton. I could have picked any. But I like Breathe Again because it just works so well with Toni's like husky delivery. The song is actually pretty terrible because when you hear it, she's basically like, if you don't get with me, I'm just dead. Like, this is a threat. This isn't even a love song. It's like, if If you don't love me anymore, my lungs will collapse and I will never breathe again. What kind of pressure you putting on a brother when you hear that stuff? Like, he just probably just wanted to end the relationship. He just wanted a clean break. And then you were like, oh, well, if I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, I shall never breathe again if you don't call me back. Of course he gonna call you back. Like, he don't want you to be dead. So, God, Tony and Face, y'all putting these brothers in bad situations. This is a classic song. Whenever I think about the song, I think about the video of her running in that maze with that wedding dress on. I'm like, you need to stop running. You'll have asthma. That's why you can't ever breathe again. Stop running around and like call a brother. One of her best songs to me, all because of the magical pen of Babyface Edmonds. And let's wrap up this list with one of the greatest songs of the 90s, one of my favorite songs of all time, a song so great that in recent years has become rediscovered by a new generation because it's that dope. Tevin Campbell, Can We Talk? This song, when you break it down, this song's a lot, y'all. This song is a lot. This is the sweetest stalker song that you have ever heard. Let me break it down, because first, he's creeping on the girl. He's staring at her like a weirdo. He like looking because he don't know what to say. He's all like daydreaming about her, but he can't get the words out of his mouth. So he's like, oh, I want to talk. But if I don't, the next time I see you, I am going to ask you like what your name and what your number is. But right now I'm just going to be a weird creeper. Then the second verse, he decides to write a letter to be more clever. And then that don't even work. So once again, he freaks out and he just daydreams about the day that one day he's going to get to talk to this girl. You know what would help? If you actually talk to the girl and stop daydreaming and writing letters that you don't send. But I know it was the 90s. We were shired back then. There was no... Look, if it was 2025, he would just catfish her on Instagram or something. Terrible. We're a terrible culture now. But back then, all he had to do was be creepy and wonder about the day when he could send some syllables to this young lady. Yeah, it's weirdo stuff, but at the end of the day, Face did such an incredible job just penning young love. I'm always impressed that Babyface was able to step into different scenarios, whether it's in the mind of a real young man or the mind of a fed up woman, and was able to tell their story so effectively. Some of the best songwriters that y'all celebrate, like R. Kelly, they're great songwriters, but when I hear a Marcus Houston or IMX sing a song written by R. Kelly, it just sounds like they're being R. Kelly. They don't sound like they're being themselves. Babyface is able to tailor his songs to the individual artist so they sound like themselves and they don't just sound like Babyface clones. There's a certain art to that, and Can We Talk is one of the reasons why, and it's one of the reasons why it's one of the greatest songs of the 90s. That's it. That is 15 hits from one of the greatest of all time, Babyface. Now, I know I left off a ton, so this is where y'all come in. I want you to go in the comments. Let me know which Face hits I should have talked about. I don't know, maybe we get enough, maybe I'll do a part 2. But there are so many great songs out there that deserve recognition. Let's show Babyface some love. Let the R&B lovers in the house come through and celebrate one of our own. Because I hate when a genre that was as powerful as ours gets pushed away by the new hotness that's on the red carpet. No offense to Chapel. I'm sure you're a nice lady. And again, this ain't even Chapel's fault. It's a dumb reporter's fault. But look, when you're face to face with a legend, show the legend the respect he deserves. That's what we do. This edition of the Soul and Stereo Sessions is a wrap. Word to the wise. Stop playing in the faces of our legends. We appreciate it. Play on, players.